another up-and-coming player. He does have a Roy, he has a Cloud, he has a Joker, which is going to be the option that he's going to go for versus Sora.
Yeah, I mean, I saw moments of brilliance from Delta in that earlier set. The biggest thing was his consistency has faltering moments. Like in game 2 where he got figured out a little bit, he started to panic. But in game 3, he's like, okay, I'm just going to do what worked in game 1 again, but like more confidently. And he got through Nunu, if I remember correctly, pretty well. But in front of Joker, you're asking for trouble. So you have to be as consistent on your defense as possible, especially in moments like this, because all that damage you did before can disappear quickly.
Yeah, it's a really good job by Delta actually get some percentage in. Now, interestingly enough, Sabito, Delta, and I are actually staying in the same Airbnb, and I am a Sora main. And I was constantly telling him, yo, you're not using enough down tilts whenever you come to the approaches. And he was like, yeah, because down tilt sucks. And I'm like,
no, it doesn't.
You're full of S.
Yeah,
and I'm like, okay, try to play against Sabito now and use down to actually mitigate some of the approaches. And it started working, and he was like, okay, maybe I should use it a lot more. And I'm like, yes, you should use it a lot more, because Sabito just wants to approach when it comes to the range. Now, if Joker doesn't get to you, you're just going to keep actually using Blizzaga and rack up that damage, taking away that first stock with the up special.
Very solid play right there from Delta. Being consistent and making it, like, one of the things that impressed me before was the simplicity is key factor. One thing I did see out of Sabito was that when he found his openings, he didn't get maximum reward. I think that is just early. I think that's just game 1 nerves, because I see it, and I can see the potential in what he's looking for. So this could be a very similar situation earlier to what we saw out of Delta versus Violet, where game 2, Sabito might just pick it up. He's gonna answer back quickly to a forward smash, and big fear now, he starts to stock off essentially with Arsene right there.
Yeah, Dominican Republic likes to call him El Primo whenever he actually comes out, because that's the cousin that's always defending you in case you get in trouble. But actually going into it a lot more this time around, actually sending him right to the side. That's exactly the position you want the Joker in, and try to set up the edge guard situation. Now, when Arsene comes out, it's going to be racking up major damage, but this time it disappears, and the Nair actually gets him up to 38, so it's a pretty good position for Delta to be in.
Yeah, very solid. Like, that Delta just trying to build up, using the Fire Aga to go ahead and get a grab out of that after, but I like how he's playing just out of, like, Joker's happy range. And also, that'll trip you up, because you expect the third one, and you just do nothing about it. And Delta's been pretty good at mixing up his timing between Sonic Blade 2 and using the third one.
Yeah, Sonic Blade has been working really well throughout the sets that we've seen him. You gotta have that confirmed on point, because Kameme can see you from Japan, Delta. You gotta have that on point right there. And just like that, he might take the first game.
His combos have been they've been online. His usage of Sonic Blade has been pretty good, and he's not overextending directly in front of Joker. Also, for anybody who's confused, that move auto cancels at a certain point, so don't try to challenge it right away, as Sabito definitely recognized.
Actually waiting a lot more, and just like you're mentioning, Ajax, does nerves seem to be getting under Sabito just a little bit. He does actually manage to punish that dash attack from Delta with a 55% of extra credit, but I do see he's flubbing a little bit, which is completely understandable considering we're in the big stage right now.
I mean, Delta being very smart about being careful as possible, because now the game is essentially even. He tried to hide as much as he can, but back air, now a lot of options are gone. He's going to have to use Sonic Blade. All right, but the timing of the Arsene got away. If he was able to get him with the counter on Sonic Blade, Delta would have lost this first game.
I need to be careful now. The side special actually manages to bait out the Blizzaga because he drifts out to the right side just a little bit. Needs to get those confirms on deck. As soon as you get the first hit on the fireball from Sora, that is a confirm into grab. That is a confirm to dash attack. If you're close enough, you can confirm it into a smash attack.
Yeah, look at Sabito he's trying to fight in center. So if he takes a hit, he doesn't go far. That was a big read, and nothing came of it. So he's lucky he's not like in a worse position, but these dash attacks are now catching landings a lot. But he has worked his way back to Arsene. Back air is the thing, but he's swinging a lot for these smash attacks. Does he catch him at ledge with this bear? He tries to go for Ento. He's going out for multiple. Delta is going to get caught, and Sabito takes game number 1.
He was calling out so many defensive options, actually held the shield a little bit more. Manages to actually try to drift as much as possible using the rolling jumping, but the back air is definitely going to come out, and when you have the cousin on deck, it's going to be the KO.
Yeah, he did exactly what you needed to do in that situation. He knew his main win condition had to be to get Arsene back, because you can't afford to go into an air-to-air war against Sora. He's going to beat you with up air eventually. So once you fight in center, build up time, take small hits, but you don't get knocked out, then all of a sudden, now you can't afford to take my back air, and that scared Delta. Look very similar to what happened in Game 2 before. Let's see if he can answer back, but that was a really good game plan from Sabito to get that Game 1.
Yeah, so far so good by both players, actually. And he was dominating right at the beginning of the game, but like you mentioned, Arsene is such a good combat factor on Joker. Let's see if he can get those combos on deck. He seems to be clubbing it just at the beginning of the game. Nevertheless, it's too early to call.
Yeah, let's see what he can do about trying to keep himself in the game, but he's taking a lot of passive damage, and he is controlling him at ledge very well. He's essentially taken like a solid 70-ish% unchecked compared to that first trade-off they had, but I'm not seeing any combo starters, and Delta's swinging a lot out of disadvantage now, which are always going to be free grabs.
Yes, I mean, this is definitely baiting out the options when it comes to Sora's approaches overall. But now it's Sora's turn to swing, actually get him up to 43%. Arsene is almost on deck, though. So what is going to be the option for him? Actually using the Blizzaga and the B reverse to actually try to get some more distance in. He has been doing a better job of avoiding those side specials, too, which is actually very important to actually not rack up that damage.
You know, I've noticed Sabito actually has a pretty, like, bad habit of standing still when in shield when he doesn't need to. Like that's like the third time in a row I've seen it, because you actually have advantage in most of those positions, and now he has essentially given up the lead. One thing that's still working is dash attacks on punishes, but Delta is just there we go. Like, he realized, oh, you're actually really scared in some of these spots, so I'm just gonna push, and Delta takes the first stock.
Part of the reason why the moves is so good on Sora. You're going to get constant frame traps onto the character and actually try to move on. Mistake done by Delta, though. A little bit of a delay by both players. We are seeing them. There are moments in time where they're doing absolutely nothing, and they are recognizing each other's patterns and punishing them for it.
Yeah, it's just been a big game of your turn, okay, my turn, okay, it's my turn to play. Like, the constant back and forth, whereas usually, oh, that's bad, that's bad. Answering back instantly with the Thunder, but like, oh, actually, never mind. He actually hasn't let him use it at all. Never mind. It was not bad at all. He's literally beating Arsene out of him already.
Doing a really good job out of it, too, just because of the multi-hits of the Blizzaga and the up tilt that manages to combo afterwards with an up air. So actually managing to do something with the recovery. I don't think that's the angle that he wanted, Ajax.
No, and that was pretty close to Delta losing out on that stock there, but using the fire to get that guaranteed throw, that will snipe him out. He's not dead yet, but this is where you go chase. You try to beat the tether. He did attempt. He was expecting him to go high. Doesn't matter. Finds him at ledge. That's what he did really good earlier today, too.
Yeah, 102% is going to be pivotal for Delta to not get that stock written until he gets some more stuff going, because he knows the Arsene is going to come out eventually, so he needs to rack up something. I do not like that third Sonic Blade.
I think both of them have a very consistent pattern of when they go super aggressive and when they hold shield way too much. When Sabito puts it on, it's just a mini game of like stay in center, kind of hop around a little bit, and make him whiff, and then you hit him once. Once you hit him once, he starts holding shield a bunch. Like, there we go. Yeah, see, he's going to hold shield again. He's not going to he rolled away from that one, but he's constantly walking up, putting a lot of shield out. Now he's not being so aggressive as before. Granted, he's got him 162, but it's very consistent in when he does it. If Delta can figure that out, he will be fine. But he's working his way back to another Arsene to start off the stock. Granted, he made him use it now, which is really good because he's still at 172 and hasn't disappeared.
This is a great situation for Delta to be in right now. 172%, and he just keeps on racking damage onto Arsene. Even if he loses the stock right now, he's still going to be in an advantageous situation because the Arsene is not going to be on deck. So definitely very good job for surviving by Delta overall.
Yeah, down throw should take it right here. Oh, down throw.
Down throw.
Down. That's he goes down there with it. Well, next one will definitely take it. That's if he doesn't just get a straight back here at this point.
Dude, surviving at 206% as Sora is actually a sin. I understand that Delta has been playing very defensively as we see the grab actually take it, but Sabito's having a very bad job. He's doing a bad job at actually closing it out, especially when you have the Arsene. You cannot let Sora survive that long.
Also, I'm going to give credit a little bit. Maybe he was trying to DI mix up in because obviously if you hold out, that's the way you want to try and get away from that down throw knockout. So maybe he was trying to do a DI mix up, but he still does find it eventually. One thing that Delta has avoided almost is that he stopped him from having Arsene on last stock. Last time, that's how he won. He has to kill confirm him like now. He actually can't afford to not get a kill confirm next time he gets a hit, because then Sabito is going to possibly get himself back in the game the same way he did last time.
And we're seeing it right now. It's a little bit of a comeback factor that Sabito might have, but it's also a little bit of overzealousness by Delta, trying to close out the talk as soon as possible. And I can't blame him, because Arsene is about to be on deck right now as we're seeing actually do the approaches. That is going to close it out. We are going into game 3.
Excellent job at making sure when you did try to get a hit, it was a hit that would lead into something that possibly got a kill. Because the first time he got a straight hit and he realized, oh crap, that's not going to work. I have to reset because Arsene's about to come. It didn't. So he played exactly the same way. He played defensively to only fish for when Sabito gave up the defensive option he needed to get the nair. And then he closed it. That was how you play around Arsene, because the moment he comes back, it's just going to be the same story as game 1. You could die at 90 to 100-ish on a bad backer at ledge. And in a very surprising move, we're going to see a switch over here to the Cloud.
I don't think that's that surprising, actually.
Off the way Joker's been looking?
No, but I understand why he's
player?
making the pick. Not only because of the player, but I personally do not enjoy this matchup at all versus Cloud. I do not enjoy this matchup at all. Just because of the fact that Cloud can actually outrange most of the moves that Sora is going to throw out. Most of the options that he's going to go for as well can be pretty difficult for him to deal with. At the same time, Ajax, he has been using Joker throughout the tournament, so we don't know if that Cloud is actually warmed up or not.
That's my biggest concern, because like I also think that Cloud does incredibly well against Sora. Obviously, Sephiroth does too, because of the range and what they can do to basically invalidate a lot of what Sora wants. But the Joker didn't actually look that bad before. I think the biggest thing was just the defensive options. They were consistently the same thing. So maybe going to Cloud here does take that away a bit, because now you have Climb Hazard on shield. You don't really have to worry so much about trying to space or hunt for Arsene anymore, because you're just going to outspace him and outrange him with all of the sword anyways.
Also, Blade Beam is going to be very important when it comes to actually stopping Sora right in the middle of the air. It's part of the reason why we're seeing him actually using on the ledge overall, because he knows that Delta is actually approaching first on the air, so he's just going to throw out Blade Beam and try to reset the neutral. As we say that, up smash coming out from Delta. He is smelling it, and he's actually figuring it out slowly but surely.
That's actually why I was kind of worried about going to Cloud, because the options were pretty straightforward before. So you know Delta's going to hunt for you to look for that up B. You need to wait for Delta to be in an ending situation. There you go. That right there. Whenever you see the Nair come out, that's when you try to punish before he fast falls down with the second hit. But if you wait for him to do it on shield, he is safe. So don't do it. But dash attack possibly takes it at the ledge. Back air won't do it yet, but he's got good ledge control now, and he's taken no damage. So this has been looking much better so far.
Yeah, 11% now onto the Cloud after just a straight hit. But again, Blade Beams and backers are going to be very important, especially in this matchup, just because Sonic Blade is definitely not going to be as big of a factor as it was beforehand.
Yeah. I thought that F-tilt was actually after his jump was gone, so I thought he was just going to fall. And that is going to lead to a lot of damage. It's hard to get away from that. All the way to 89, even if you don't finish the whole thing, that's still a lot of damage going on. And he still has the fall. You can see it in the body language from Sabito over on the camera. He had that lean back. It's like, bro, come on. I mean, look, that's a unicorn moment. Sora does an SD, so it's
the second SD.
That's the second SD we've seen of this tournament.
The same guy
from Delta. Somehow Delta's breaking the rules, but you take that every time.
It's the nerves, boy. It's the nerves. And they might be getting into it. Nevertheless, he is getting the combos in. Actually manages to read that they're going to actually try to use that option to move out of the way. But now Sabito's actually starting to cook something as we're seeing the Blade Beam coming out.
Not gonna lie, I felt it in my soul with the way I've seen him play. I thought he was gonna go for finishing touch. I felt it, but thankfully he didn't, because it's not worth it there. You want to keep pressure. But one thing that is concerning me a bit, not so much concerning, it's getting capitalized on, is that not only Delta finding that stock, but Sabito is almost always swinging instantly out of shield, because Cloud has so many good options out of shield. You need to be careful about that, because he's fading away every single time.
They're going back and forth right now, Ajax. Sabito is definitely on the come up. The Delta as of late has been doing a really good job at maintaining good placings. As the Blade Beam comes out, 6% differential. This could be a bit of an upset if Delta takes this.
Hey, that was such a smart moment too, because that fire trade is worth every time. Now we're on last stock situation here. Limit is on deck. it won't kill, but it's going to be a lot of damage as he goes straight to 79. Delta also with the body language, shaking his head a bit, and he is getting up. Yeah, you can see it. He's still taking back.
He's getting frustrated. He needs to be careful. He needs to not become so overzealous when it comes to actually playing against Cloud. He's been doing such a good job throughout the set. 108%. The nerves are starting to get to him as we see Sabito actually maintaining station control, pulling back, trying to get those blade beams into play because he knows that Sonic Blade is going to come out, going to charge up the limit this time, and actually the third one is going to get punished one more time.
Finally, and the hugs are going to come out. Great set between the two of them, but one thing that took a long time that I kept waiting to see an adjustment on was Sabito's behavior out of shield. It was just so straightforward, all set. Until that moment at the end, he started recognizing that, oh, he's trying to force something. He's aggressive. I'm going to stay in shield. And then at that last moment, instead of trying to swing right away, he hunted for the parry. He mixed it up, waited for the end, and sealed the game.
Which is part of the